Yes, my people. Hope you're all doing well on this fine Sunday, afternoon, midday, lunchtime, whatever you want to call it. We're back with another live. We're talking transfers. It's Super Sunday. Got some good games of football on today. And it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Big up to everyone that's already locked in the building. We have got 16 of you already in the building, 14 likes. Let's try and get those likes up to 20 if possible. Right, let's big up the chat. Big up to CJ, smash them likes. Big up to Benjamin. Also, the likes and subscribe. Yeah, man, Super Sunday is here. Facts, bro. Isak deal happens after Newcastle, he says. Big up to MM Legends. Big up Scotch Bear. Big up Jacob. Smash those likes on the way in. Yep. Predictions. Well, you got Chelsea Palace, Chelsea 2-1, and Arsenal Man United 1-1. Big up to Liz, hope you're well. Big up to CJ Gerd. Big up to Scottish Bay. Yeah, big up to everyone that's already in the house. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel. We are on that road to 2.2k. The road to 3k is on. And we're going to get into all the news. Bit of Mark Gay, bit of Isak news for you. And also, I want to react to a couple of clips I saw from Alan Shearer and Wayne Rooney, which I thought was a bit interesting as to what they had to say. So we're going to take a little listen to that later on in the show as well. But yeah, big up to man. Big up Reacts. I think you should get Benjamin to all mods. He's always there. Yeah, I probably should actually. You know what? Let me make him a mod. Yeah, I always see him support me everywhere, man. Let's make you a mod, my guy. There you go. Big up to everyone in the house, man. It's a Sunday midday. We're just gonna vibe today, chat transfers, chat a bit about the game as well. So this is what Fabrizio Romano said yesterday, though. Liverpool had their new proposal ready to be sent to Alexander Isak as soon as Newcastle decide it could be a Premier League record deal, says Romano. I think we all know this is going to be a Premier League record deal. I think, we all know this. I think we all certainly do know this by now. It is going to be a record-breaking transfer, and it's going to be one of those ones where, when it happens, the internet will break. Liverpool Twitter and everything will break. It will. But what I just don't simply understand is, I get now, it takes time. Yeah, it takes time and all that. But it's getting to the point now where it's like, what do we do if Newcastle don't bring in a player? This is the question to the chat. Arnie Slot confirmed in his pre-match interview. We wanted to bring in a forward, right? We all know this, and this is correct. What genuinely happens if we don't bring in Alexander Isak? No, he actually said this. It was on like his Instagram. He posted a bit on his Instagram. Liverpool presented this, and that. Like, it's actually by Fabrizio Romano, as you can see. It's the actual tag of him. Sometimes Fabrizio Romano posts things on his Twitter, his Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Facebook, flipping, I don't know, whatever else he uses. Other social media, maybe even Snapchat. Might be on Snapchat, Mr. Romano. But if we don't get Isak, are you guys worried? Yeah, I'm gonna ask the poll. If we don't get Isak, are you worried? Yes, no. Now that question can mean many things. It could very much mean, are you worried that, Liverpool are so hardly settled on Alexander Isak? We need him actually in the team. Do you want to give Ekitike also time as well? Are you also worried about the backup names that we're being linked to, like the likes of Bradley Barcola? He could potentially be another household name. Me personally, if we don't get Alexander Isak, I'm not worried about the season. I'm worried about the rest of the list of names. Like, people know me in the chat, I don't really rate the likes of Bradley Barcola that much as high as other people. I'm sorry, I don't. And that pecking order list is going to get very much shortened up. For me, it is a bit of a concern because there's only a few weeks left, chat. I think there's only 15, 16 days until that window slams shuts. So I'm intrigued to see who the backups are. So yeah, big up the chat. Let's get to 25 likes. Yeah, 33 of you inside. If you've not hit that like button, make sure you've hit that like button. And make sure you're subscribing as well, because we are going to be doing a watch-along for Super Sunday today. Chelsea, Palace, Man United, Arsenal. So we're going to be doing that. We're aiming to try and get 2.2k subs next week. So yeah, let's big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to AR, respect. Footy Reacts, make Liz a mod. And she is Jean of Queen's Liverpool community. Yeah, I'll sort that out in just a second then. We need Gay. He's like in CDM. I doubt it. I think there's more of a chance of Liverpool buying Alexander Isak and Bradley Barcola than Liverpool getting a DM. We need Isak. Big up Jake. Big up chat and reacts. Yeah, man. If Newcastle doesn't let Isak go, buy a backup to Ekitike, a wide forward, and a proper DM, which I want anyway. The DM part along with Gay. So you want Gay, a DM, a backup striker, and a winger. I'll take that. Yeah, let me make this a mod actually. Because I know she's a mod on like a lot of the big channels. So. Right, that should have gone through. Big up to everyone in the house, man. Sunday stream. Can't beat it. You can't beat it. I wanted to see. Should we have a look if... Let's see if Thingy's done a video. I've just seen this on YouTube. Why is Isak anger is fair? He cost Newcastle. You know what? Let's take a listen. Let's actually take a listen to this.
Guys from here inside Villa Park. Now I'm here to reflect on a goalless draw, a stalemate. And ordinarily that might not sound too exciting, but I thought what played out there today, I thought it was absolutely fascinating in so many ways, and I want to get into that. And even then, talking to Eddie Howe downstairs, again, lots to pick over. And one man, well, he is dominating conversation, and he wasn't here. Now, Newcastle didn't want that to be the case. Eddie Howe said that yesterday, and they did come here and play well, and they did come here and do enough to win the game. We'll go through all of that. A lot of positives to take, absolutely, on the back of such a turbulent, disorderly summer. Quite remarkable, really, for Eddie Howe to get his team in that shape and to play the way they did. Newcastle United, that key word from the summer, which he delivered. When you think back to Celtic 4 weeks ago, wow, that performance so far removed from what we saw today. Newcastle did do more than enough to win the game, but they didn't. And that is why, for me, to talk about Alexander Isak here is entirely merited. Absence doesn't make the heart grow fonder, it makes it grow angrier, really. You guys, as Newcastle supporters, Eddie Howe and his teammates should be angry that Alexander Isak wasn't here to win the game for them, because as much as Eddie Howe said downstairs, it's hypothetical that we don't know if we would have won with Alexander Isak. Yes, he is going to say that. I know he is, but I'll
do, because
deviate away from hypotheses and what may or may not have
goal.
happened. I'm prepared to commit to Newcastle United absolutely would have won with Alexander Isak in the team. I don't think there's any doubt about that for me, and that is in a strange way, that's a positive, because they played well, they created chances, they had territory. It was a performance in which they were the better team with the better players. We'll get to the Merit Stars. The Merit Stars are back, of course, and a few lively contenders. But they didn't win the game because they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And there was inevitability about that, really, almost from the start, not just from the start of the game, the way it played out when Anthony Elanga goes through and misses that early chance. But even yesterday and last night coming into the game, all the conversations you have that Newcastle would play well, not score, not win. Now, they're lucky that failing to score didn't result in failing to get anything from the game. They got something they deserved in a result and a point to build on. So it's not the end of the world. But Isak's presence, or rather him not being here, but still being at the club, means he is still here. It's almost now like an omnipresent source of doubt and distraction for his teammates, because they know the narrative and the die is going to be casted. Without him, they can't score. Anthony Gordon played well at centre forward. I thought Eddie Howe was at pains to stress that afterwards, and that's fair, that's okay. But when it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net, a phrase I'm probably going to use a lot during this video, he wasn't able to do it. Anthony Elanga wasn't able to do it. Harvey Barnes wasn't able to do it. None of them were. And you just think, if this Isak situation was resolved, if he just wasn't at the club, in front of goal than what they did. I really believe that. Is it not just now that this Isak situation, and Eddie said this afterwards when I asked him, it just needs resolved one way or another as soon as possible? Because as long as it's there, and as long as it lingers, he's the phantom striker who is just haunting the football club, really. He is. And I think there will be anger. There was anger amongst the away supporters afterwards, because they're paying a guy £140,000 a week, even though he's set to be hit with a club record fine. They're paying him that money, and they've got the player at the club on the books who they identified and they coached and they brought on. Well, if he'd been here today, they would have started the season with 3 points, with a win that would have been deserved. Because he's not, and because he's not Alexander Isak. Now, is the situation retrievable on the back of that and everything that's gone on? Well, Eddie would still like to think so. The door remains wide open for Alexander Isak to return, but crucially, post-game, he's just said that's only down to one person. That now isn't down to Eddie Howe. He's done what he can do. His teammates would have said what they can say. The club would have put the offer of a contract in front of him. They've done their part. It's only down to Alexander Isak now. And he doesn't want to be here. Didn't want to be here today with his teammates, with the fans who have backed him, with the coaches and staff who have made him that player. He wanted to be somewhere else. And beyond that, by extension, he wants to be somewhere else entirely. He wants to be at Liverpool. On that quick insert, I dare say there'll be Liverpool fans watching. And again, an update on that. All options are still at play. With each passing day, the likelihood of it reduces. But what I do know is Newcastle are still absolutely looking for strikers to bring in. Johan Wissa, I remain convinced he's going to come in next week. We're expecting that one to progress. In the looking story I broke last night, Gonzalo Ramos, PSG striker's back on the agenda. He was, and then he wasn't. I was told last week it's not happening. And I was told yesterday, actually, there's a chance it might. Newcastle have been given some encouragement there. But again, I think that would be a really hard one to do. I wouldn't hold my breath on that one for want of a better phrase. But they are looking. He is an option. Absolutely. I've had that confirmed. That's why I put the story out there last night. I think he would be good. I think he'd be very good. I've interviewed Ramos once or twice. Real maturity beyond his years as well. Speaks a few languages. It seems a bright, switched-on individual, intelligent. That's the type Eddie Howe like. And on top of all that, clearly a very good footballer. But that was for another day. And for today, let's look back on a game which I said, walking away there, one of my.
No one cares, mate. But no, he was obviously referring to the situation of, the situation of, have you not seen the Newcastle fans, chanting? You could say some aggressive things. I saw the Gordon interview as well. He was obviously saying the club are finding it hard. And he was saying that he is actually looking forward to the Newcastle game next week, which is going to be interesting. The Newcastle Liverpool game, I'm looking forward to, because I actually think we beat him up. I do. I actually do think we beat him. Palace, Newcastle, man, they're dark, man. Why don't you sell him now? Are they really that bothered about that Newcastle Liverpool game? Really? Are they really asked about that? Come on. Just be done with it. Be done with the situation. Put everyone out their misery, because it's actually getting to the point where it's just borderline boring. It's just getting boring. That when eventually that here we go happens, because it will eventually happen. It's just not going to hit. It'll be like, yeah, we expected it to happen though. We did, But yeah, big up to everyone in the house, man. 6 likes away from 30. Let's get these thumbs hit and catch up with the chat as well. He sounds a bit like a bitter man here. Yeah, he does. It's mad how much Isak is getting. Yeah, Jokres and Wissa did the exact same thing. Jokres did the exact same thing, yeah. Wissa's doing the exact same thing. Because it's Isak and Liverpool, it creates links and papers. The real indie live, what do you mean? If you're feeling it's complete. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. But I wanted to show a clip of this. Listen to this clip here. Listen to these muppets.
Minute is not the right way. It's not a look there, but there's a way of doing things, and the way that Alex is doing this at the minute is not the right way. It's not a good look for him or his agent, who obviously have got into him. And Liverpool have got into his agent or his players. And I mean, to come in and offer 110 million is rather belittling as well, I think. When you've got midfielders going for 105 million and 100 million, they know they're not going to get Alexander Isak for 110.
It's just called testing the waters and showing Alexander Isak we're actually serious about actually bidding for you. Liverpool would have known that bid would have not been accepted. And if it did somehow get accepted, Liverpool would have won the lottery. Could have been like, how on earth has that been accepted? You know? I just don't get the whole narrative. And that's funny there, Shearer, mate. Because why don't you talk about Wissa refusing to go to pre-season games, refusing to do kit launches, refusing to go to games, refusing to acknowledge the fans? Jokeres did the exact same. He said, I'm not even going to bother saying goodbye to Sporting Lisbon. But when it's your player and when it involves Liverpool, you don't like it. But when a player comes to your club, you're like, oh yeah, welcome Wissa, mate. Welcome to Newcastle. Where's the narrative there for the same? Where is the narrative same there? Did you see True Geordie clip saying he wishes he gets? Wait, what? Where's that clip? Is it on his YouTube channel? Is it on like the kickoff? Or is it on this? Isak refuses to play for Newcastle. They must fight back. Let's have a listen.
O2's the only major network that lets everyone roam freely in the EU.
No one
Up to
cares.
25.
Just play the bloody... Oh my... I can't stand ads. Just play the clip. Another 6-second ad. Flipping out. Right, let's get into it.
Welcome back to the kickoff, and apparently Alexander Isak will never kick a ball for Newcastle United again. Is he telling the truth, or is desperation kicking in on behalf of Alexander Isak and his agent right now? It's hard to tell. Alexander Isak has completely and utterly trusted Liverpool and gone all in with them this summer, which is pretty fucking risky when you think that you've never played for them before. They really have no reason to be that loyal to you other than wanting you for being a very good footballer. He is burning every last possible bridge at Newcastle right now to force his way out. Now, what's weird about this is allegedly Newcastle already gave encouragement to Liverpool earlier in this summer transfer window. Ben Jacobs claimed in the last 24 hours that he understood that Newcastle had indicated a willingness to engage on Isak, so Liverpool made their bid. It was made with optimism, which is why the strong and quick rejection was a surprise. Now, I'm extremely skeptical of a lot of these guys who are the transfer experts, and I think that the narrative control that is going on here on behalf of the big clubs consistently in the summer transfer window has been unbelievable to witness. Why would Alexander Isak need to burn every bridge possible if Newcastle was showing a willingness to engage with Liverpool? They're also claiming that 2 weeks before the end of the season, Isak told Eddie Howe that he was finished at Newcastle, that he was done. Weeks and weeks later, you see him posing in our away kit for next season. Like, this guy doesn't give a fuck about contracts, clearly. So why the fuck would he continue doing contractual obligations like that and going along as if he was going to be there next season? And if Newcastle were enticing Liverpool to bid, why would it have been a flat no and an immediate rejection and not well, if you put this number in, then we'll accept that, and then the negotiations start? It was no negotiating. None of this adds up to me. And I think there's a lot of narrative control in order to paint Isak out as not the bad guy, and Newcastle as, oh, they're holding back this player. He just wants to fulfill his dreams. What I'm listening to is an absolute joke. A report from the legend that is Keith Downey came out not long ago, and he basically said that bridges could be mended and potentially we might see Isak remain at the club because Newcastle had not been able to replace it. And within 12 hours, Alexander Isak and his team come out swinging to make sure that everyone knows there ain't no reintegration. I'm not going back. Ornstein said Alexander Isak is adamant he will not play for Newcastle again. Even if the window closes without an exit for the 25-year-old, his Newcastle career is over and there is no wish to reintegrate. Personally, I see that as a really desperate move, right? You got no other choice, my guy. This idea that you'd be happy to rot away and not kick a football for months and months and months and then potentially a whole year is bullshit. And we all know it. This is where Newcastle do have some power. And this is exactly what this kid is trying to erode as best as he can. And I do take that personally because I love my football club. And Newcastle...
Wait, which one is it? I think it's the Football Terrace podcast with... Wait, which one? Right, just tell me which clip it is because I actually want to see.
having to try and conduct themselves as professional as possible, especially with Eddie Howe being such a great speaker and handling this in the horriblest way. He's having to deal with it, but he's doing it. But I think as fans, we've got every right to be pissed about this, and we've got every right to speak out on social media and to defend our football club when its reputation is being deliberately destroyed by one of the best players we've got. It's outrageous. So I did a little tweet. Panic is now set in. He's backed himself into a corner, and Liverpool haven't stopped up the cash. He's breaking it at the thought of having to face the music at St. James's. It's time to man up, you coward. I really meant that, because I thought you really don't want to have to get in front of these fans again, because he knows what it's like to be loved by us. He doesn't want to know what it's like to be hated. You've got 3 years left. You'll do as you're fucking told. I really like that. That was quite a fun one. And I think Newcastle have to approach this from a position of strength. Yes, in modern football, people say contracts don't mean anything. 3 fucking years means something. And we can't fall into the trap of, oh, well, just give him what he wants and all of that. We got a lot of value in this kid. We need to start acting like it. We hold all the cards. And as much as you don't want an unhappy player at the club, do you know what a player doesn't want to do? Spend a whole fucking year after he's built himself up with a reputation as one of the best strikers in the world to not kick a ball.
Keep a player there for 3 years that doesn't want to be there and won't want to play for your club.
Football again for an entire fucking year. He doesn't want to do that. We need to remember that, because as shit as it would be for Newcastle, at least we get to play games every week. At least our journey continues. His fucking stops dead. And as much as people will still want to sign him and all of that, you got to think of how other clubs would look at him if this kid was literally willing to throw his toys out to a pram to that degree that it would really hurt the club that he was getting paid by. And I think in the event that we still have him at the end of this transfer window, I think we need to just take legal action on him, fucking destroy him, do whatever we have to do. I don't give a fuck. You're living every kid's dream, and you're treating it with the lack of respect that I've never seen before. And you know what surprised me about this a little bit was Liverpool fans going after me like really badly, as if I've said anything about them that's bad. I'm blown away by that. I get they want him, and I've got no problem with them wanting Isak. I don't blame them. He's a fucking top player. I get it. All I've ever said about Liverpool is that they tapped Isak up. Everyone knows that, by the way. That's not a revelation. That's not me saying anything that's out of order. It's a fact. The kid is willing to burn every last bridge he's got. You don't do that without a clear assurance from another club, we're coming for you. And as much as it happens all the time in football, the degree in which this has gone to is bang out of order. And I'm not even blaming Liverpool for that. This is Isak. He's a grown man, even though he's not acting like one. He can take the fucking responsibility. I ain't really got a problem with Liverpool. I'm a bit disappointed in the way this has all happened, but I ain't said much about Liverpool. So I don't know why they're having a dig at me. I think of all the clubs that should understand this, it's a club like Liverpool who have had players do the dirty on them, like Trent Alexander-Arnold. And to be fair, it's a different situation. I understand. He ran his contract down. They got no money for him. It is different. Equally, you didn't sign him for anything. You didn't have to buy him. We paid 63 million for this kid, and he had 6 goals in 32 fucking games. He was unproven. Nobody big wanted him. We looked after him. We developed him, and we've done a lot for his career. And I think a working class city like Liverpool, more than any, and I think all football fans, in fact, we've all done jobs we don't like for shit wages, miserable, sucking it up, getting on with it. Do you know why? Because that's what being a man's about, man. And yet this fucker, he's on 6 figures a week, living the dream of all of us, right? Yes, I know you might not have grown up wanting to play for Newcastle. He's playing in the fucking Champions League next season. Yeah, he might not get his transfer right fucking now. It's going to happen in the next 12 months at some point. Still, at least honour the club that's made you and fucking do the right thing for them, and you'll get your fucking move eventually. To refuse to kick a ball when you're on 6 figures a week and this club has done so much for you, to not look at that and think he's a disgrace, I don't understand it. Yes, it's to the benefit of Liverpool fans.
NatWest is helping young people grow their money confidence.
A little less conversation, a little more action, please.
And I get like rose-tinted specs and all of that. They're probably sitting there going, well, are you saying that about Vissa? Because he's doing the same thing. Guess what? I am. He is a fucking disgrace. He should be fucking doing what he's told by Brentford, as should every other fucking footballer. Because when they refuse to kick a ball, it's spitting in the face of every fucking bloke who's worked hard all week to afford the ticket to get in the fucking stand and to cheer his fucking team on. And Newcastle have got to go into this weekend's fucking game with no striker because he's refusing to play when we're paying him over 100 grand a fucking week. The way I see it, every single fucking point that we've dropped in this moment right now is on his fucking head. And I'm not letting the lads off with anything because they still got to fucking turn up and do their bit. But it's so out of order. I think back to like the first video I ever did about Nile Ranger. That was all inspired because a mate of mine, He died. And I went to his funeral, and his whole fucking funeral was about his dream of growing up to play for Newcastle United and how he adored footballers like Shola Amiobi. It was his life. And to have that in your hands, and just because you're not getting your move to Liverpool right now, you're treating the club that literally did all this for you with such disgust. I'm mind blown by this. And the fact that other football fans who are all working class lads can support it, I don't get it. Yes, want Alexander Isak for your club. Not a problem with that. Don't blame you. But to say that this is fine, I don't fucking get it at all, mate. I think it's time someone sat Alexander Isak down and said, you need to grow the fuck up here, because there's lots of men out there who sign a fucking contract to do a fucking job. And you know what? You're being very well fucking compensated. It could be 1,000,000 times worse than where you are, mate. And when he signed that contract, we didn't fucking know for sure it was going to work out and it was going to be all hunky-dory. And if Alexander Isak had been a total flop, guess what we'd be doing right now? Paying the fucking wages. And what would he be doing? Running down his contract quite fucking happily, like so many footballers do. So we're bound to the contract when it's not going well, but when it is going well and we're actually getting a little bit of fucking value for our money, he's not bound to it. Well, how the fuck does that work then? And we've even offered him another deal. I've got no doubt they've said, look, we'll bump your wages right up. Next summer, we'll put a fucking price in there that you can go for. Just do the right thing here. And he's like, nah, fuck off. And that's where you kind of go, he's a bad person, isn't he? Like,
no, you can't blame him for that. If he doesn't want to sign the contract, he doesn't want the new wages at Newcastle, you can't say, oh, he's a bad person for not wanting to sign a contract.
Oh, that's not the actions of a decent man. That. And it's not the actions of someone who understands how fortunate they are. And I'm not saying he hasn't worked hard and he doesn't deserve the success he's built for himself, but he's fucking fortunate to be in this position as well. He's been blessed. Do you know what I mean? And Isak and his agent, they took a risk, they signed the contract, and now they're like, nah, fuck it, we're not doing it anymore. There's a big part of me that wishes Newcastle would say, get in the fucking reserves and rot, you little bastard. Because that's really the behaviour, that's what it deserves. The problem for Newcastle is where they do have strength is that Isak is worth so much money. And I think that the actions of Isak are very deliberate, because what they are wanting to do is make such a fuss, such a storm, that the fans, the club are like, oh, we just can't be bothered with this anymore. Fuck it. We'll give him to Liverpool for a massively cut price because we just want this over with. And I'm already seeing Newcastle fans beginning to break, beginning to, just get rid of him. That's what he wants. Let's not do that. We need to back the fucking club 100%, yeah. And they need to show ultimate strength here. We're not letting them go. You will fucking play. You will break, because you're not going to let your career go to shit over this. I know you're not. You're too selfish for that. You'll throw your toys out the pram for a couple of weeks, maybe a month. You'll break. And we need to make sure that we get the true value of a 3-year contracted player of that level of quality, what he's actually fucking worth. Because these tactics, as dirty as they are, we can't allow them to be done to us, because otherwise, what's stopping another player from doing them to us again? Then you're setting a precedent. And look, I know Newcastle have already shown the hand a bit here. We've gone for Sheshko. We've gone for Ekatike. Clearly, there was a game plan there. If we get them, we can let Isak go for the right price. But we blew it. And guess what? That's also a you problem, Alexander Isak. You're contracted to us. Tough shit. You don't always get what you want immediately. We're not even saying it's not going to happen. But when you hear that, Jackson from Chelsea is being valued at 80 fucking million, when his goal contributions is half that of Alexander Isak, it's a no-brainer to keep Alexander Isak at this point, because we're not getting anywhere near the offer of the valuation that he's actually rated at. So why bother selling? And look, don't get me wrong. I would rather sell the little bastard. If we could actually do some fucking transfer business, yeah, brilliant. But I just don't see a way where we're going to be well equipped enough this season to let him go right now. But let me know what you think should happen in the comments below. There's that kid Samu at Porto we've been linked with, but we're just not dynamic in the transfer market. So I find it hard to believe, especially at 21 years old, they're rating him at 80 million as well. It's like one good fucking season. I mean, is that a good idea? It feels like we got a gun to our head, so we're being pushed into doing a knee-jerk signing here. And that, again, is not a smart thing to do, in my opinion. As much as I'd be excited if we signed him, I'm just totally unsure that that's the right move for that amount of money. It's a shit situation, that's for damn sure. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that like button, stay subscribed to the kickoff. We'll see you on the next one.
Fair enough. My thoughts, I mean, look, I actually understand some of his reasonings, and I also disagree with some of them. I actually thought it was quite respectful to Liverpool. Have Liverpool really tapped him up, or is it they just convinced him he just wants to join? But Fabrizio Romano did do a video a day ago.
Meet the Sharks.
Let's take a listen to that. Right, let's take a listen. Smash these likes. Come on.
And here we are, guys, as usual, with all the updates. And today, let me start with Liverpool, because there is a lot of movement in this domino of players. Dango Ouattara leaves Bournemouth and goes to Brentford. The deal is done and agreed. And so Brentford ready to replace Vissa, who is expected to join Newcastle this summer if everything goes to plan.
Yeah, chat, where was the
And then,
screen then?
also important to say, Liverpool sell Ben Doak to Bournemouth. The deal is done. It's a here we go. It's agreed. Porto are not in the mix. Stuttgart are not in the mix. The player is going to Bournemouth.
Let me know where I can
called
find
3 days ago to ask about the player, and the answer from Liverpool was the player has been sold to Bournemouth 3 days ago. So agreement done. Ben Doak goes to Bournemouth, new winger and new talent for them. Massive business for Liverpool, generating again money from the outgoings. And so Ben Doak to Bournemouth is a here we go. But then Liverpool maintain their full focus. Giovanni Leoni is a new Liverpool player. We know that. It's done. It's signed. 2031, a 6-year contract, the exclusive detail I gave you last night. Mark Gehi, the negotiation continue for the defender to join Liverpool, and then the main focus remains Alexander Isak. Today, important words by Eddie Howe, the manager of Newcastle, saying tomorrow, obviously, this weekend, Alexander Isak will not be with the squad against Aston Villa. So the message is just a confirmation of what I already told you, and it was already clear for the player not to be with the squad anymore. He doesn't want to play with Newcastle anymore. And Eddie Howe says the situation has been like this for a while, and I think it's gonna be like this again. So what does it mean? That Isak doesn't want to play this game, but also next game, but also next game. Isak wants to go to Liverpool, and now it's very clear to everyone this. It's not just the player maybe upset, and then we are going to sort the situation. The message from the player is very clear. Liverpool Football Club. So remember that Liverpool are ready to bid. Remember that Liverpool are very ready on this one. Remember that Liverpool are ready to sign Alexander Isak in these final 2 weeks of the transfer window. So now, let's wait for the next steps. Let's wait for Newcastle, because now there is the visa negotiation, as I told you. Ben Doak to Bournemouth. Bournemouth sell Dango Ouattara to Brentford. And so Visa allowed to go to Newcastle. And now we will see what's next for Newcastle, because they need at least one more and still have to close the deal for Visa. So let's follow that situation. Also to follow the situation of Christopher Kuku, guys.
I found the clip, chat. Is this what you're on about? Let's take a listen.
It'd be lovely if it was this Sunday. It won't be, but just hypothetically, I'm going to be sitting there cheering, happy that he's here. And I do find it. I've seen all these like Newcastle accounts calling Isak all these names, but then when it was reported by Craig Hope and what crime, personally, we have another clip here though on this situation. Let's take a listen to this, people. I have seen this clip already. It's brutal.
Really disappointed in the fact that you are making a club who made you, and that's not up for debate, look like shit. And for me, it's unforgivable, and I wish him nothing but the worst for every single day of his fucking career. And if he gets a career-ending injury, I won't have any sympathy. Fuck Alexander Isak.
This is fuck him. I can't believe you're saying.
Wishing him no
it's a
luck.
shame what's happened to Brian. He was a lot better with Loz. He's gone, he likes American things now, doesn't it? It's all like anti-Trump stuff and, Andy Tate and political bullshit. And that's just, he used to be a really good football pundit. I mean, I've not spoken to Brian for a long time since I did the video with Loz, but I did offer him his side of the story, which he would never do. But I like Brian, but I think that's just incredibly...
Don't go away.
Stick your neck out. Take that ferry. Go clubbing in Estonia. Meet a coven of goths.
Crass and naive. Wishing injury on somebody. And also, Newcastle made Isak. I mean, forget me if I'm wrong, but I think I knew who Alexander Isak was before he signed for Newcastle. I think Newcastle gave him the platform, but I don't think they've made him. And I don't think Isak's the villain for the reason you just said there, Terry. Wizza is doing exactly the same thing, but because it's going to benefit Newcastle, it's okay. I generally just do not like players that go on strike. I don't like it. United fans will love it if Donnarumma goes on strike or Belieber goes on strike. But I just think in 3 years' time, I want players that are going to have a good relationship, that when they retire, I can look back at Paul Scholes and Ronaldo and other people. Even though Ronaldo walked down the tunnel and everything like that, he's always retained a respect in this United fan base. And I think it's sad, the short-termism of football, because it leads to comments like Brian's there. Newcastle have mishandled this situation, and maybe so has Isak, but they're both parties in this. And I don't think there is a villain in it. Like, if he's told them, I'm not signing a new contract, and let's not forget, Newcastle do not want to keep him if he doesn't sign a new contract. So it's not like Newcastle are saying, we're going to make you run your contract down. They want him to sign a new contract or they will sell him. And there's this misinformation that annoys the shit out of me, because it's not like, I know you said you didn't have a problem with Trent. I've got a problem with Trent because he made out that he didn't run his contract down and then turns up speaking better Spanish than Florentino Perez. I know how hard it is to learn a bloody language, and you don't do it in 2 weeks. So I think that, there's a lot of misinformation. And ultimately, it comes down to the fact that Newcastle hasn't been able to do their deals. If they got Ekitike a month ago, Isak would be a Liverpool player. It's all just coming to a head because people are getting frustrated. Deal with it.
Yeah, look, I don't know Brian or True Geordie at all. Never even had one interaction with him, I don't think, but maybe back in the day, I'm not too sure. But like I said earlier, Newcastle fans are losing their heads over this. And all I really want to say to them, genuinely Newcastle fans, is strap yourself in, because if your owners are as serious as we all believe they are, as your revenues grow and you become an even better team and a more consistent team, you're going to consistently have your players linked to other clubs. Real Madrid are the biggest and most successful team in the world. Every year, their players are linked to other clubs. It's the nature of the beast. And there is always an element of truth to it, because when you have the best players, everybody wants them. When there is a sniff that there's an opportunity to get a Tchouameni or a Vinicius or a Rodrigo, as we're seeing, they're linked. Man United, all of our best players, all of our lives. Scholes, people don't forget this because the kids weren't even alive, and people forget this. Scholes was wanted and chased by the top Italian clubs every summer in the 90s. The only difference there being he literally just said, you have to buy Man United. I'm not leaving unless they sell me. Giggs was always, if people took the disrespect Giggs gets as a footballer, again, all the top clubs in the world wanted to sign him. Beckham, from when he left in 2003, maybe 2004, 2003, I think it was. You go back maybe 4 or 5 years, every summer, massive talk of him leaving, with Real Madrid's and Barcelona's wanting to sign him. This is just the way it is when you're near the top. Your players, your manager get linked to other clubs, and people are prepared to pay big money, big salaries to turn their heads. They've got to get with the program. You've got to, because one thing I've noticed in Newcastle fans online, and this is what I find really weird, you're online giving opinions on public platforms, X, Instagram, YouTube. The amount of Newcastle fans I would say I've had in my replies in the last 18 months, whenever it's commenting on a game or a player, why talk about my club for? Why talk about my club? Why talk about my club? Just focus on your own. That for me is just, it shows the mentality of a percentage of that fan base and a percentage of that club. You're not ready yet to be a big team. Wait until you've been good for a number of years and you have a little fall off. Wait till you see what the media says about you. You're going to lose your minds, guys. You've got to step up. That's my hot take on that. You've got to stay more relaxed on that one, in my personal opinion. Viewers, make sure like buttons have been hit.
Oh, I'm on bloody mute. No, what I was saying was, I used to rate True Geordie, man. And, yeah, I don't know what's happened to him. But we have a few more clips. I want to react to. We have a couple of clips from Mr. Flippin' Jordan. We're going to listen to this clip here. Using the media, Simon Jordan reacts to Isak refusing to play for Newcastle. Let's have a listen.
It's a golden match day at the
No one cares about ads. Shut up. Chat, by the way, get these likes up, man. We're 4 likes away from 40. I will catch up with the chat.
is rising by the minute in the northeast.
Make sure you're
because this
also
morning, and no doubt
subscribing.
you heard Ali and Gabby, but news came through that Alexander Isak has really set the cat amongst the pigeons. It's all come through a quote from a tweet, I should say, from David Ornstein. I know David well. He's a highly respected journalist, works for The Athletic. About a couple of hours ago, Simon, Ornstein tells us Alexander Isak adamant he will not play for Newcastle again. Even if window closes without exit, the 25-year-old views that his Newcastle career is over and no wish to reintegrate. Club says he's not for sale, but exploring the market amid Liverpool interest, and the striker wants Liverpool. That was according to David Ornstein. Alex Crook has been reporting exactly the same thing. And now the place is an uproar. Now, it's my understanding that the squad, the Newcastle squad, the players and the staff haven't been in for a couple of days. They've had a couple of days off, and they're all in there later. I'll get your take on this later on, Simon, as how the ownership might view this. But it struck me that just a matter of months ago, I was up in the northeast on the occasion that Newcastle played Arsenal. It was a packed house, of course it is. It always is at Newcastle United. And the fans were in fine voice. And Alexander Isak that day scored the only goal of the game. And he spoke to me afterwards.
You know, I love it here, and I love playing in front of this crowd and these fans. And you know, we just want to keep winning. I just want to do good and keep scoring goals, and we will all be happy.
I love it here, and I love it in front of these fans. And he was talking to me just straight after the end of the game, and he was thrilled to have scored the only goal of the game. And now this, Isak adamant he will not play for Newcastle again. If you didn't hear Gabby on breakfast, he really let loose.
Wow. I mean...
Wow. Who does he think he is, by the way?
Correct.
Like,
Correct.
listen, I can't banter with Newcastle,
Correct.
but like, who do you think you are, mate?
Correct, mate.
Who do you think you are? Disgusting. What that club's done for you.
And by the way, have a think about this.
How else
Have a
is he
think about
supposed to
this.
let them know how he feels?
If you're Liverpool,
By the way,
you're Liverpool fans, is that the kind of person you want to be signing?
Real Madrid won him in 2 years when he's 27. He'll do the same to you.
Of course you will.
yeah, I do want him
of
at my
course you
club.
will.
Ali,
Thanks.
and the fact that
I want him at my
Newcastle
club.
missed out on
Thanks for
Shesko,
asking.
they've got
That's
every
it.
right to say, listen, you're going nowhere. We've
Yeah.
lost Callum Wilson. We can't get Wisher over the line
He
yet
likes
as well.
that
We're
chat,
not
by the way,
going
back
into
in
the
2
season. They've
minutes.
got Villa on Saturday. Who does this guy think he is? Like, you've had a
Right.
fantastic season.
Yeah.
Settle down a bit, mate. If it doesn't suit the club, shut up. Get your boots on. Big season for Newcastle. Want to start the season
Mate.
well. Villa away, tough game. And now you're saying you're adamant you don't want to play. Like, what?
That's unbelievable.
Wow, that's wound me up.
I was Gabby and Ali just a short time ago. So months ago, Isak standing with me at St James's Park. I love this place. He scored the only goal of the game. They beat Arsenal by a single goal to nil. Now reports that he's adamant he will not play for Newcastle again. Simon, my goodness, I cannot wait to hear you let go on this. How hardball can Newcastle now afford to be with Isak?
Well, in part, it's their own fault. The vacuum of leadership that seems to exist in Newcastle has created an entitlement in the player that they can trot out these platitudes about what they believe they had an understanding towards, or what gentleman's agreement, or what they were led to believe is now being reneged on, as a backdrop to suggesting they can behave as they want. If the leadership had been clear and specific and explicit to the player from the outset, and not allow it to be seeded in the player's mind and his representation that somehow or another they're going to achieve what they want, then we may still have a problem, but we might not quite have the same problem that we've got now. Gabby is right and wrong in equal measure. First of all, Isak doesn't owe the club anything. Isak signed for the club and has played for the club and performed well for the club. So it's a partnership between the club and the player. The club didn't give him anything. The club gave him
Jordan, I actually hope you carry on speaking sense here, because you actually are speaking sense for once. He doesn't know anything. He's not Newcastle born and bred. He got on Champions League football twice, won him a trophy, took him into another final, scored abundance of goals.
contract, and he played to his natural ability. So the idea that, you know, that look what Newcastle's done for him. What Newcastle would have done for him if he hadn't played very well would have been bugger all. That's what they've done for him. They'd be trying to send him out the door. But because he's done well for them and done his job, it's a Faustian pact. So the idea that look at what Newcastle have done for him. Well, look what he's done for Newcastle. So I get the point there. The reality of the situation is very simple. We are talking about quotes that are not attributed to the players. We're talking about understandings from journalists, and I do not suggest that David Ornstein doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a top journalist, and he probably will have been fed this, but we haven't got any direct quotes at this moment in time. So the player is using the media to funnel information through so that he can say, well, I didn't actually quite mean that when the time comes to pass.
Of course, no doubt
we know that these things will be resolved.
Yeah.
We have wars going on. We have countries in dispute. We have terrible situations around the world, and at some point, these things come to a resolution, and this will come to a resolution at some point. My hope for Newcastle is that they concentrate the mind of this player. What I'd like to see in situations like this is the unions do something meaningful for a change, like talk about the players' conduct and expectation of players and how they should play for their club. Because if a player is suggesting through the media, whichever media channel is, that he's not going to play for the club again, then that shouldn't be something that should be allowed, because a contract has to mean something.
Right.
It's not about contracts being breached, like the guy that sued UEFA for the compensation clauses as a result of the Russian club that didn't want him anymore and then held his registration. And we've seen all the freedom of argument around contracts in recent times. This is a player that's got a 3-year contract with Newcastle United. And if Newcastle want to be a football club of significance, they have to control their own destiny.
So if you're Newcastle, are you calling Isak's bluff?
I am calling two parties bluff. I'm calling, if indeed bluff is expression, I would have said to Liverpool, and I would imagine it has to have some conversation, you will pay this price or you will go away. It's really simple. You're not going to agitate. You can do as much as you want, and you can do it in a fashion that you believe is befitting of a big football club, but you're not going to get him for less than this. And you, son, are not going for less than that. So if they don't meet that expectation, you will do as you're told. In the same way that Marinakis filled the void. Whatever you may think about the idea, or it's very simple, Simon, to say what you would and wouldn't do because you did it 20 years ago. Well, it's just been done by Marinakis.
What, Morgan Gibbs-White?
Because he made clear in the player's mind and the player's representation and the idea that people were being inappropriate in their conduct. I will set you guys on fire unless you play properly with me and my football club.
Yeah,
metaphorically speaking.
One of the key lines in this bombshell tweet from Ornstein, to my mind, is when the word reintegrate comes along. Has no wish to reintegrate.
Yes, but Jim,
if he has no wish to reintegrate, it's going to be a bloody hard job for Eddie and everybody else here.
But you've just played a clip.
Getting back in.
People change their minds. People change their positions, and people change. They can adapt their shtick in the same way that you just played out a message from him at the time, which I imagine was pretty apt. I enjoy playing in front of this football club, football fans.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean he enjoys playing in front of his football fans for the rest of his natural born life, does it?
No, I know that, but we're talking about a few months ago.
So it's not.
If Liverpool weren't in big for him,
so it's not beyond the.
Would he be saying this? No, he wouldn't.
So it's not beyond the wit of man for him to change his position on the fact that he doesn't want to reintegrate, if indeed he has the courage to actually say that out loud himself. Because he won't have the courage to say it out loud himself, because he'll realise that it's directly attributable to him and there's no road back from that. Right now, there's loads of room for road back for everybody.
Yeah.
There's loads of room for everybody to go, well, I never said this and he never said that, because no one's saying anything on the record.
Which, why now, Simon, should Liverpool increase their offer? Isak's doing the hard graft for them.
To a point. Depends how resolute Newcastle are and how significant a football club they think they are.
Do you know something? It took me back. And I think Isak's got to be careful, because it took me back to, I think it was 97, 98. I'd just gone to Sky. Pierre Van Hooijdonk, once of Celtic, then at Nottingham Forest. He was successful initially with Forest. He said he'd been told previously he could leave the club and that the club's owners had failed to deliver on their promises to him in regards to strengthening. Forest, they played hardball, refused to allow him to be transfer listed again, but he went back over to Holland and trained with NEC Breda.
Yeah.
Virtually saying, tell me when this is all sorted.
Yeah.
It wasn't sorted. And the club won the day. He had to come back and he played for them again. Not for long.
I would suggest
but he had to come back.
I would suggest that the dynamics have changed. Players have got more control of their own destiny after 27 years after that event. But again, it goes
very similar situation.
It has a similar feel about it, because it's a player that doesn't want to play for a football club all of a sudden because he thinks there's an opportunity better for himself. And he's entitled to think that, as is Isak. What he's not entitled to do is down tools. Now, we constantly hear this ridiculous notion that agents want everything tied up. They want to know exactly where they stand. And now we live in a world where they can turn around and say out loud, we had an understanding. We had a gentleman's agreement. I've never heard so much crap and excuses made for not doing things properly or reworking and re-engineering the information to your own favour.
So answer me this. Who can afford to dig their heels in hardest now? The club or the player?
It depends what you mean by fault. Do you really think that the Saudis give a monkeys about 150 million quid? They don't. They're not running the football club, it would appear.
Well,
Now-
they do when there's PSR.
Well, they do and they don't right now, because ultimately they're being very compliant with the football establishment. But notwithstanding that, I don't think they're actively involved in running the club on a day-to-day basis. I'll be interested to see who is running it. Darren Eales is the chief executive, very capable operator. He stepped out due to ill health. You've got other people in the mix. The sporting director that a year ago everyone was saying was the problem is now everyone saying could have been the solution.
Right,
So make
Paul
your mind
Mitchell's
up.
gone.
Yeah,
You're
but a year
right.
ago he was a problem.
And you're saying what Alan Shearer's saying. Shearer's saying, I don't know why they haven't appointed anyone yet, or if that has hindered them in the transfer market, because I'm not inside the club, but from outside the club, it's not a good look. It's a mess. It begs the question, who's making the big decisions? Now, if a decision has to be made, we don't know who's going to make it. What decision would you make?
If I was in situ,
right?
But I wouldn't have let it get away from me. The way that's gotten away from them. If you start the dynamic very clearly in the way that potentially others do, which is very clear to the player. First of all, we don't have an understanding. Second of all, you're not going to do this. Third of all, it's on our terms. End of discussion. Get your head around it. You shut your mouth, agent, and understand your position in the equation, and we'll see where it falls out. If Newcastle, if Liverpool want to buy you, they'll pay 150 million quid. If they don't pay 150 million quid, you're not going. Right, so you be clear on that.
And you're not going, and you're confident you can reintegrate into the squad.
But what they've done, Jim, in most things in life, if you allow somebody to create their own narrative, they'll start to believe their own version of the truth, which is now that there's a sense of entitlement that actually we should be able to move. We've been told this, and probably none of the above is true, but you've let that train leave the station. It's about how you put it back into the situation where you've got some control over it. I hope that Newcastle are bold enough, big enough, and strong enough at ownership level to turn around and say, I don't think so, son.
Wow. Okay. Let's put it out there this morning. Newcastle fans listening to this, and you're already onto us in huge numbers. So why not come to air? 03717 223344. How hardball should Newcastle play this as a club? Or are you ready to say to Alexander Isak, good luck or good riddance? But anyway, get in your bike. 03717 223344 81089.
Okay. Right, we'll put that tweet back up there. And then what we'll do is we're going to catch up with the chat, because I know I've got a lot of messages I need to catch up with. I'm about 25 minutes behind. Yeah, big up Alec, big up Isak. We fully support you, big up, man. Can't blame Isak if he wants to join an ambitious team. Liz, to be fair, if that was us, we wouldn't be happy if a player went on strike. The problem is that Newcastle doesn't want to sell him. They should just let him go. That's the argument here. Newcastle should just let him go. Don't think it's a video. United 3, Arsenal 1. I love that Newcastle fans are spoiled of memories of Isak and done his team talks for at least 2 games a year for the next few years. Let Newcastle put him into the reserves, and when next year comes, he'll only be worth what he is. I agree. Champions League fans will chant group mentality. I don't think it's down to money with him, but his agent and him have not acted professionally. Look, if he was a Liverpool player and he acted like this, I'll be saying the exact same thing. Do I agree with what he's done? No. But ultimately, what I was supposed to say, a contact is in jail. They're making 65 million on him. We shouldn't back up to Madrid if he gave us warning. So Newcastle want to keep an unhappy player, but try and play him also. Lol. I mean, you saw Anthony Gordon even speak about the situation and how it's affected him. Yeah, smash these likes up, man. We're 10 likes away from 50. Let's get to 50 likes by the end of the stream. We're going to go for another 7 or 8 minutes. Let's pick up Scottish Bale always, man. To be fair, Isak gave them enough time to bring in someone. Yeah, well, back to Newcastle. Imagine, Newcastle fans are just proving they are not used to having the best players. Every other fan of the top clubs is used to Madrid almost exclusively shop with us now if it happens. It's their own fault. They should have their targets in order as they go sooner the window. Well, this is where I feel sorry for Isak. If the club did say to him, yeah, we'll let you leave. If the club actually did say that, then he's in his own right. You have to understand he's in this. They would if pushed to keep him for another year next summer bids coming from various clubs. I agree. Isak warned them a long time ago, so how can Liverpool tap up Isak when he's already told Newcastle? That's the argument, mate. Not down to us. It's that players that don't want to join them or drag in their heels. Big up, Manny, bro. Yeah, big up, Matty as well. Fine panel comments. The football terrace. Yeah. While Newcastle sell Isak to Liverpool, he's not going to be fit to play for them again. Romano says Bournemouth. What do you mean? Yeah, get to 45 likes, man. He's the Forest fan, you know. There's no evidence he said he wants to leave. None. Well, obviously not. Isak's not going to put on his Instagram, I want to leave, is he? Why is Newcastle being awkward not selling Isak to Liverpool? Isak will not be fit to play. They're the arguments here, mate. Newcastle fans are picking the reports that they want to happen. It's pure opinion. There's two totally different transfers. Let's take time to this. Newcastle, be humble. You can't keep an unhappy player for 3 years. I don't think they'll keep him. I'll be shocked if he stays. Why would you not want to join the champions? Fight for the league or become content with Carabao Cup? Yeah, there's always two sides. Yeah, get the likes up. By the way, watching your game, not convinced he's a player for you. Your high tempo pressing is in the game. Well done, Chiesa. Was pleased for him. Big up, man. Good, not Simon Jordan. He used to be okay. The real winners have been Romano, Austin, Sky Talk Sports, etc. Bro, yeah, they farmed the content this year. Yeah, man. Goldbridge said he was on TalkSport to be anti-Liverpool. Well, of course he's going to say that. Akatiki on the left is yeah, I agree. I mean, Slot even said it in his pre-match interview. That's something that could very much happen. Gabby doesn't know what planet he's on. Probably he always talks. Yeah, the guy I've talked for, yeah. Media smoking Isak villain. Of course, they obviously get some attraction. Oh, and I see Jordan has wound. Sam Jordan always spins the narratives. Very awkward. He has done more for them. IMO. He gave him a chance to sort his wages out. They've hardly showed him what they think is worth paying. Jordan realizing he was basing his earlier bullshit statements about Liverpool being the bad guys. Yeah, it's a good day, man. Down to BSR. They can't match the ambition. Newcastle should lower expectations. Yeah, I agree, Scottish guy. Yeah, how many likes are we on, chat? Chat, we're 9 likes away from 50. Let's get them up. Clubs can sell players, but if a player wants to leave, what's the issue? I don't know, man, but I suppose we're going to find out soon. Never heard so much crap. Is anyone checked on alongside a player playing for his hometown club forced him to leave last year to meet PSR? Where's the loyalty? Loyalty's dead in football. Newcastle second tier club acting like a big club. We've offered them a British rental fee. One at Hugo, they thought we'll have both. Fans are always viewing on things in favour of the club. I wanted them outside of the whole saga. Rats off, I'm off. Have a great stream. Big up, mate. Big up. Edwards said, hold my beer. This guy's talking a lot of waffle. I thought Jordan has wised up. Yeah, he's wised up, man. You guys know Jordan has Saudi associates. I mean, I don't know him personally, though. Big up footy. Everyone liked the stream. Wow, what a fight. Yeah, it was mad, mate. There's Clussen. One call from honestly, yeah. Banger, mate. I need to get Gareth Davies on the case of Isak if you oh my god. Now, Gareth A. Davis covers boxing stuff. I've met Gareth A. Davis, by the way. He's a nice guy, man. But chat, this is the end of the stream. We're caught with you lot. Hit the likes on your way out. Subscribe. We're going to be redirecting to the Chelsea Palace watch along. Man United, Arsenal double header watch along. So make sure I see you all over there, and we're live on there in 2 minutes. Big up for a quality stream as always. Take care, and peace. We'll see you on the watch along.